What's up, everyone? Next game we're going to do is going to be Trek in the National Parks. This is the second edition. Pretty much what it is about the national parks in the United States. What you want to do when you set up the board? This is actually a pretty big board, just taking up my entire screen here. You get this bag full of little plastic little tokens. Shake them up, and what you want to do is grab them, and then every one of these things that you see here, you wanna just put random on there. It doesn't matter for color wise or not. You just want to put one on every single one of these. So you do that for all of them. I'm only gonna do I'm only do a few more here, and just do that. Yeah, and then except throw all the rest in the bag there, and then you put them all throughout the thing. Um, throughout the map there. Um, all right, so there's that. That's how you set it up. Let's start to look. Let's go to look at Board Game Geek and see where all the rankings and stuff are. All right, here we go. So what you want? So it's going to be ranking is 2,734. It is for 2 to 5 players, ages 10 and plus. The community says it's best with 4 players. Play time is between 30 and 60 minutes. And the weight out of 5 is a 1.73. So it is another relatively easy game to learn. And it actually is a pretty easy game to learn. Pretty easy game to learn and to teach. So there's 5 different players, so there's different. You're gonna have 5 different. You're gonna have 5 different colors. The bear here, that's the that's the first player token. So you got your 5 different players. You get one person, and then you get these little campsites for each player. So one player would get the player and the 3 campsites. The campsites would be over by you, and then obviously where the big round thing that says start. Yep, you guessed it. That's where we're gonna. That's where everybody's going to start at. What the tents are for the major parks, which are the ones that are the red ones here. There's 6 of them. Shuffle them up, and each game you want to pick six. Just you want to pick 3 random ones. So you pick 3 random ones, and then the other 3 you can put off to the side or put them back into the box, and then you can flip them over. Going to be the community. These are going to be the community ones. Um, Whenever you go to one of these, you would put your campsite or your tent on each one, like that. So then the next player, if they go to one, they would put their tent on it as well. Um, and then the other national park cards are all of these. These are shuffled up, and then the top 3 of these cards are also flipped over. Um, and then whenever you land on that space, and you were able to buy it, with the Trek cards, which are the currency of the game, which are going to be all these different symbols. You got canoes, mountains, boots, paw prints, mountains, and not on here, but there are one more other one. It's the forests. What those are the cost of the game. So whenever you you land on the park that you want to go to, let's say you want to go to the Everglades, or yeah, if you ever want, if you want, well, yeah, if you ever want to go to like the Everglades, which is obviously down here, when you get to the Everglades, you would pick up uh, the the token here if it is available. Whenever you land on a space with one of these things, you pick up the token. First player to do that, and each one of these is 1 point at the end of the game. But you get down to the Everglades, and let's say in the Everglades are 2 canoes, and you had 2 canoes in your hand, then you would be able to buy it. Um, Moving around, you have you only have a few different things that you can do per turn. You can do, as it says, player turn. You may do 2 different actions or the same action twice. Draw a check card. So each time you draw a card is an action point. So if you draw 2 cards, then your turn is over and it goes on to the next person. You can move twice. You can claim a park, or you can occupy a major park. Now, when you claim a park, which is the white ones, you pay the cost, then you pick it up and you put it over by yourself, and then you grab a new one and flip it over. Um, 2 ways of ending the game are if every one of these tokens is taken, or the first player that has 5 of the white ones. Major park ones, these red ones, do not count towards the 5. Um, let's go over the check cards real quick. You got the 4, and then you got the actual symbol, which is the fire or whatever. Fires are, or the symbols and stuff are used for the currency of buying the parks. The number card is represented by the spaces that you can move. So let's say you wanted to, your first turn, you play the 4 and you want to move 4, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't move over the same one twice in the same move. So you can't go. Let's say you want to go to Mammoth Cave and you want to use 4. You can't go like 1, 2. Sorry, you want to go 1, 2, 3, and then 4 or whatever. You can't do that. You have to do it. You can only go on one road, I guess you could say, one road per turn. You can't pass through another person on the map. So if you wanted to go to the arches, you couldn't go that way. You would have to go that way to get to arches. Um, the only way that you could pass through a person is if they're on the start one. So if they're on start, going through the person does not count. What you could do though is, let's say you had a 2, you put 1, 2. You can land on a space with another player. What that's going to do is send the other player back to the start. What else? Um, you can play as many cards as you want to move, but you have to move whatever the card amount is added up to. Let's say um, so that'd be 7, but you wanted to say you don't have enough to get 6. So you're like, oh, I'll just use 7. Nope. If you use 7, you have to move 7 spaces. Just like if you move 3, or you play a 3, then you have to move 3. You can't say, oh, I'm just going to move 2. You have, whatever you play, you have to move. I said you can combine as many as you want, up to, you can have up to 9, like that is. You can move all the way up to 9, but you'd have to move 9 spaces. You couldn't just move 7. You couldn't move 8. You'd have to move 9. But otherwise, that's the overview of the game. There are a couple of other things to it. You got some bonus cards. At the end of the game, you can have the most green stones, second most green stones, and goes through all the different colors like that. You get a bonus. You can get bonus points for that at the end of the game, and then whoever has the most victory points or most points at the end of the game wins the game. I've played this game a couple of times now. It's not a bad game. It's fun. Like I said, the major park cards actually have their own abilities. Some of them are one-time use. Some of them are able to be used for the rest of the game after you acquire landing on them. It's a pretty fun game. It teaches you a little bit. Each one has a little fact about the national park. Um, Plus, it shows you where they are in the United States. So if you were like, oh, that's where the Badlands were, or that's where the Petrified Forest was, now you kind of know where they all are. Um, there is one off to the side here, like way over there. Um, you got American Samoa all the way in the corner, but like I said, the board is way too big to fit on my screen right now. Um, but yeah, overall, it's a fun game, quick game. Like I said, it takes 30 to 60 minutes to play, which is pretty accurate. So, oh, thanks guys for stopping over and checking the national parks. I appreciate it. Until next time, take care.